Jalen Reagor, is he DeSean Jackson or Nelson Agholor 2.0?
Still the cowboy, Mr. McLean. You Americans are all alike. But this time, John Wayne doesn't walk into the sunset with Grace Kelly. Scary Cooper, asshole.
Oh, Dingbat! Oh, shit! Oh, shit! That was crazy! Happy trails, Hans. Dallas still stinks. Everybody doing? King Dingbat here, and I hope everybody's having a great day. I hope you guys are doing well. You know what? I am finally out of the house. I am out of lockdown. I am out of house arrest, and I am gone. I am in Las Vegas, home of Nelson Agholor. I got here early this morning, drove all night, 9.5 hours. I'm tired as hell. Can't wait to go back to my sister's house and just crash. But before I do that, had to run a bunch of errands. Wife wanted to go in a few stores, and I figured, you know what? While she's in the store, I'll come out and I'll talk to you dingbats. I'll talk to you peoples, because you are my peoples. I miss yous. So I figured I'd come out here and talk to yous about a little football. Eric R., shout out to you, man. A great long-time viewer, subscriber of mine. I asked for people to give me requests of topics that they would like to have me talk about. And everybody that has left the topic, I have written it down. I've got it written down, and I will definitely be talking about it within the next week for sure. But Eric R., he brought up a topic about Jalen Reagor. Is he DeSean Jackson, or is he more like Nelson Agholor 2.0? And I was thinking about this while I was driving yesterday, last night, while wife's sleeping, the kids sleeping, trying to stay up. So I started thinking about Reagor. I get pumped for the season, all those kind of things helps me stay up. But I was thinking about it anyways, and I thought it was a great topic to kind of just throw out there, because it is interesting, and I hear a lot of people, especially, people who are fans of other teams like the Cowboys and the Giants and the Redskins. Speaking of Redskins, it looks like they're going to change their name. They're folding. They're going to change it. And you know what? I don't care what they change their name to be honest with you. They stink no matter what. Change your name to whatever, you're still going to stink, you know what I mean? And actually, I do have a lot of opinion on the whole name change and what's going on behind the scenes, but I can't get into that right now. I'm too tired, too exhausted. But it's a good topic another day. Maybe when they finally change their name, we'll talk about it, because there's a lot to talk about, and I'm probably willing to bet there's not a lot of people out here who see it from my perspective, no matter what side you're on, because I got my own thoughts and my own thinking, you know what I mean? So I'll share that with you guys another time. I'm too tired right now. But speaking of Jalen Reagor, and speaking of being in Vegas with Nelson Agholor, his hometown, where he's going to drop many balls and cost his team many games, I do think it's an interesting question, because there's a lot of people who think Jalen Reagor is going to be another Nelson Agholor. And then there's others that think he's going to be another DeSean Jackson. And I can tell you this. Jalen Reagor is closer to DeSean Jackson than he is to Nelson Agholor. And it's not even close. Okay? First of all, just if you look at the physical appearance of Reagor. Now, this doesn't include DeSean, because DeSean doesn't fit him either. But he's a thicker, bigger, more physical looking guy than Nelson Agholor. Okay, he just is. He seems, personality wise, he seems like a stronger willed, more confident type guy than Nelson Agholor. So I think from a mental perspective already, Jalen Reagor is totally different than Nelson Agholor. As far as a football player goes, Nelson Agholor was only he was one-dimensional. He only could be a slot receiver. He cannot play outside. And then when he had the ball in his hands, he wasn't that great with it. He wasn't that instinctive. He drops a lot of balls, and people say, well, Jalen Reagor drops a lot of balls, and that's why he's like Nelson Agholor. You got to look at the passes that were thrown to him, some of the catches that he was required to make because of the stinky quarterback play he had. But Jalen Reagor and Nelson Agholor, they don't even look alike, okay? they don't even look anything alike as in terms of a football player. Reagor is a little more thicker. He's a little more physical looking. He's a little more confident. He can play outside. He can play inside. He can play all over. Plus, he can play special teams, okay? They put Nelson Agholor in special teams before he stunk, okay? He's not very instinctive, Agholor. Reagor, totally different story, okay? DeSean Jackson and Reagor, they're similar, I guess, in terms of they both have deep speed. They both can catch the ball and take it to the house. But Reagor don't even remind me of DeSean Jackson, to be totally honest with you. He actually reminds me more of Jeremy Maclin. I see a bigger physical Jeremy Maclin, and when I say bigger, I mean he just looks more compact. You know, he looks a little thicker, a little more muscular than DeSean, than Agholor, and the Maclin. So I would say he's probably more comparable to Jeremy Maclin, in my opinion, than Nelson Agholor or DeSean Jackson. But hey, you don't really know until they're on the field. But the way the Eagles are going to use him, kind of all over the place, in the punt return, that's something that I don't think they could ever do with Nelson Agholor. Nelson Agholor was strictly one-dimensional slot wide receiver. When they tried to move him outside, he stunk. He didn't have that dog personality. Like, he didn't seem to have a lot of confidence in himself, and one drop pass could ruin a whole season for Agholor. Jalen Reagor is nothing like him. I think complete opposite personalities from what I can see and what I can gather. So those are kind of my thoughts on who Reagor is. He's closer to DeSean Jackson than he is Nelson Agholor. However, he is probably, in my opinion, closer to a more physical Jeremy Maclin. That's just my opinion, but I would love to know your guys' opinion in the comment section. Let me know. I hope you guys have a wonderful 4th of July. I'm going to go home or back to my sister's house. I'm going to go take a long nap. You might see me tomorrow. You might not. Definitely on Sunday. With that said, take care. Talk to you later. And don't be a dingbat.